Ladies and gentlemen, we're back again for another Hoss Chat. We've made it another week. I know I say it every week, and then I say, I know I've said it. But I'm saying it again, because it's my podcast, and I can do whatever I want. Folks, tonight is the Country Christmas Charity Show at the Food Bank of Waterloo. So by the time this comes out, that will have already happened. But I'm looking forward to that tonight. Emily Salvador and Johnny Salvador are going to be opening that up, who are my cousin and my uncle. So I'm looking really forward to that. Caleb Koo's going to be playing with me, Johnny Lantine. And we should have a good show tonight. It should be fun. Coming up, there's really no dates coming up right now. I have some stuff booked for the new year, but we're going to talk about that when that comes. I'm taking a couple weeks off just to kind of relax a little bit. We've had a run of shows, so I'm going to take some time off, enjoy the holidays, and we'll be back at it better than ever. Back in 2024. It's coming. It's coming. Folks, I've been jibber-jabbering too long. I am ecstatic for the guest we have today because a tremendous friend, just a tremendous person, and you're going to really enjoy him. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Willem Lachance.
Whoa!
How's it going, man?
It's going pretty well, man. How are you doing?
Good, dude. I'm happy
nice
you're
to be
here.
here.
I'm
yeah.
happy. Willem just has, and you're going to find this real quick, he's just got the voice for this. You know what I mean?
Do I?
Yeah.
I've heard that before, but I when I was a kid, I had a lisp. I had a bit of a speech impediment. So, I mean, I'm always pretty critical about my voice. I never he'd like to hear it back. But, I mean, you know what? If you say so, I believe you.
It's just it's not commanding. I'm not scared of you, but it's very, ear friendly.
Good.
I know what you're saying.
That's what I try to put out there. And, yeah, I'd love to. I'm happy to be here and give you my voice for 20 minutes.
Hell yeah. And he's not being paid.
No.
If you were
not in money, anyways.
As we're recording this right now, we're coming to you live from the truck, as usual, or mostly usual. There's a guy out in the field on top of an electric unicycle, maybe?
Oh, yeah, he's RoboCop.
I don't know what he's really up to. He looks like he's training for something that's not coming.
Yeah.
He looks...
Stop. You violated the law. Yeah.
He looks mechanical.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Brother,
but safety first, though. He got a helmet on. That's important.
That's true.
Even robot.
Oh, he almost fell.
Almost took a spill.
I wish this was a live video. Maybe to start, how do I know you? How do we know each other? Tell us who Willem Lachance is.
Sure. So how do we know each other? I met you through a mutual friend of ours that I met in college, who we're still friends with. We still hang out with. Shout out to them. And then we met one time. When was I don't even remember the first day we met. I don't remember when we met. I think it was just at one of the parties.
Probably
right?
A party up there. I would guess.
Yeah, but I remember our mutual friend saying, "Oh yeah, you're really gonna like Nick." And I was like, "All right, man, bring him on. Let's see what he's got." And then the first day, I think we talked about Hank Williams and we were talking about old country music that my dad showed me and that you still love. And I think from that day on, we were just like, okay, yeah, those guys, I thought at least, that guy's cool. So
we drive well. We're good.
We did,
brothers
yeah.
from different mothers.
Exactly. And then who I am, I'm just a guy, man. I just kind of do stuff. Jack of all trades, master of none type of fella. I kind of try my hands in a lot of different things. A lot of them are creative. Doing a lot of different music projects right now, from composing short film scores or just producing my own stuff. I'm also playing live shows with a band right now, and also trying to kind of start up my own little collective of musicians for myself, and that's with the music stuff. And then I'm also working in film and television and music videos, etc. Just working as a production assistant, trying to build my way up to eventually hopefully be a writer producer type of fella.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, so I just try to, keep myself busy doing stuff that I love, and yeah.
I feel like when I think of you, or I'm talking to somebody about you, and I'm trying to explain what you do, you are this guy that's your wheelhouse is ever changing and ever growing. There's no limit to it. You're just you're a creative person all in all.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think so too. I think it's just the way my brain works. I've never been I am a very analytical person, but it's not about that type of stuff. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to creative fields, I'm just fully, I think when I'm trying to think of what song I should write, I just think about it for a second, and I literally hear a melody, and then I try to recreate it on the piano. It's not like I play something on the piano to try to figure it out. I hear it first. So it's just
And
the way my brain works, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is. I mean, that maybe that shows my lack of brain power.
No. Maybe it's I don't know, some sort of autism or something.
I don't know.
You know, like it's everything on the spectrum somewhere, right?
Because similarly, like I know myself in the writing process.
Yeah.
I've never been the guy that needed to have. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. It's a huge help when you're sitting down with like an acoustic just to write.
Yes.
You just have your scale is right there. You can work out a melody. But I've never needed that. Like you're saying, I can kind of sit there and just kind of like string something together, write a song with that in mind, and then take it to the guitar, or take it to somebody else, and kind of have that ironed out. And I don't know what that is, but it's seemingly that the people that have that creative mindset, very different functionality than like the people that you know that are like in business or that have like that 9-to-5 structure. And I'm not trying to knock anybody on either side. It's just that it shows that contrast of how the brain is such a spectrum.
It's very exactly. Like everyone just has their own skill set that is identified through various things you do growing up, whether it being sports or hobbies like music. You kind of do the trial test of like a lot of different stuff, right? And you see what clicks for you. I guess the real question is why that is. I don't know. We all have different archetypes, it seems like. I have no idea why we have these like kind of set up kind of jobs for us, if that's the way our brain works, but it's cool, I think.
Well, let me phrase this to you like this then, without this sounding too like interviewing. But I just thought of this when you were talking about that. How do you find, maybe that's a better way to phrase this, in life that like your own experiences and maybe whether it be from the past, present, or things that are coming or that you experience, how do you find that connects to your actual art, whether it be music, whether it be film, whatever you're producing? Do you find that like that life experience kind of gives you a bit of an edge or gives you a bit of a diving board to start?
You know, I used to think about this a lot, especially as a writer, of trying to come up with ideas and trying to like write, you know, scenes of real dialogue, of like people trying to seem real, right? And it's like, what if this isn't a situation I've experienced before, right? So one was it was a card table. It was a scene I was writing about all these people playing cards. I'm like, I've never been in this exact situation before, so I had to reference a different script to help me. But my point is, it's like, I don't think I really use a lot, consciously at least. And if I try to force it, it doesn't work.
Right.
So like, if I try to be like, I need to write a song inspired by X, and then I try to think of it, it won't come. But if I make something and then I look at it later, I'm like, oh shit, that was what was inspired by X.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I kind of need to let it lead me versus me trying to force it.
Yeah, and I think that's like well said. And that's why I look at, for at least myself, and I think maybe that's what you're saying too, is like that experience is like the diving board per se. Because it's not necessarily like where you're a starting point, but it's starting point in the sense of like you just kind of dive in to maybe a project and you start even just doing it, and then your mind actually catches up and you go, oh, that's why I did it like this.
No,
or
exactly,
that's where this came from because of this. But maybe in the moment you didn't actually even know it.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I try to say forcing it doesn't work either. So you kind of just gotta let it dive off and let it kind of lead you, because that's how we work, I guess. We let the feelings run us.
Yeah. I just remember like I'm ripping this off of like another person. Like I like watching some of those comedy podcasts, comedian. I've always been a big Joey Diaz fan. Shout out Joey Diaz. He doesn't need my shout out. But I remember Joey Diaz saying at a really young age, or like when I was at a young age starting to listen to that, he was like, it's awfully hard to have a creative product when you're not really focused on the living aspect of it. And I think that's like such a simplistic philosophy, but it's so true. Because I know a lot of people that, especially in my side of music things, that are so involved with music or maybe the industry side of things, it's almost like, hey, what are you doing this for? Like also like this artist that you're trying to push, this image of who you are, it's kind of unbelievable at times, because it's like all you know is meetings and going from show to show, or these writers' rooms and stuff. It's like without a little bit of living and a little bit of dirt, it's hard to come up with stuff that's actually like genuine and going to resonate with people. That's my take. Like I personally, at this stage of my career in the life, I haven't sang about anything that I haven't experienced or that's been an aspect of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, like ballads about other people or other situations aren't bad. We all know songs that are great like that. But I think it's tough to be like an artist or push something, and not even just in music, when you don't have there's no resume of experience of anything.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think, especially, I don't know, in the country kind of genre too, a lot of it has to do with tragedy and or heartbreak and or, you know, like it's actually really sad, you know, genre overall. Like, not the, you know, the poppy kind of stage country stuff, but
Right.
like, you know what I mean? Like, at its core, it was like a way to pour your soul out. And I think singing about stuff that you haven't done is a bit disingenuous in that context. You know what I mean? When it's in a context of a genre that is so honest,
Right.
usually, or like it's a take on honesty. Sometimes they play around and stuff, right? It's not like they're always, you know, telling the truth. But I don't know. It's like when someone raps about something too, in the same way. I mean, I believe you when you say it, because like it's such an honest art form that I would expect you to not really like fully lie to me. You can like, you know, blow things up. But yeah, my point is, yeah, I think I lost the point.
That's okay. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's just, like, I'm not saying go out and do heroin.
No.
I mean, if you want to, go for it.
But don't sing about doing heroin either, probably.
Right, because it's just, there's, I think in a world, too, of, like, overexposure, where everybody, you have the world at your fingertips with your phone. I know that sounds like a very, like, old man thing to say, but you can expose yourself to anything, which has its good and bad points, but I think to really resonate with people or have some kind of viewership, you have to really preach what you truly are standing for. And I'm not saying a political point. I'm not saying like an ideology. Maybe it's just like your philosophy of how you live.
Yeah, no,
how you
definitely.
live, what you like to do, what you don't like to do. Let me know, because then that's when I can listen to it and I'll go, oh my gosh, I feel the same way. I'm going to turn this person on my radio, or I'm going to put this person on my playlist.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it, per se. I know some people just go, oh, this is a cool song.
Yeah, that's what it depends on, right? Because it's like with the TikTok kind of world of everyone blowing up now because of TikTok, it's like, do these people have something to say, or are they trying to use this as a way to get big or whatever? And also, are these songs, like, do they have any substance to them? You know what I mean? And who am I to say? I'm not saying I'm that person. It's just something to think about, you know? Oh. That's bad timing.
That's okay. We got a little sound effect, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the one I think about, too, is, like, I'm not going to name names, because I'm not here to do that. But I know some people that have put songs out about, like, heartbreak and love loss and stuff. I'm like, have you been with a person? Have you been in love? Or have you had a relationship like that? And I can't remember what video I saw. I watched a video of a songwriter one time talking about writing from the lens, or writing for somebody else's perspective. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to go through their eyes. And I think that stuff can work, but I think it's a very different product than if you wrote a song about how you got your own heart broken. You know what I mean? I think the connectivity to there would be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. And how people, like, even connect with music at all is not a mystery. Like, I'm sure it's been studied, but, like, to me, it's like, how do people listen to a song? Like, there's a song that can have no lyrics and you can still connect to it. And it's like, how does that happen? I have no idea.
Well, I think an introduction to what you just said that a lot of us have that we don't even think about is, like, think about, like, old Looney Tunes or, like, old cartoons with the film scores that would play. And how, like, that would, like, the way the rise and fall of the melody would kind of push the story, or, like, what you were watching on screen. You know what I mean? Like, that orchestra would be playing when there's a chase scene, or something's happening, or something's happy and calm. And that, it has a big impact on you, on how you perceive these emotions, or how you kind of arrive that through what you're watching and listening to. And I feel like that's something that is lost at times. Like, that catered experience to what emotion you're trying to reach at, just because everything's so, like, commercially produced now, or mass produced. I think that's sometimes lost a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it kind of has to a little, like, not has to, but that's been the eternal struggle in all art forms, is the battle of art versus commerce, right? Where it's like, where does the line go, where it's like stops being a creative project and just becomes a business venture. And, like, who is to say? You know what I mean? No one can decide, because you can go way back to, like, the whole, like, what's his name there? Like, was it Socrates or whoever had that kind of, like, the moral thing where it's like, you don't want to be too much or too little. You want to be right in the middle, the golden mean. It's like, who's to say what the golden mean is, right?
That's true.
But there has always been a constant struggle. It's like, with the commercialization of, again, TikTok, and just, like, so much being pumped out at once, the loss of quality and heart and soul will happen, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah, that was very well said. Well, I don't ever like this being like an interview where I'm, like, hitting you with questions and stuff.
No, of course not.
But I like to sometimes throw some in just to kind of throw
Spice
the
it
person
up.
off. So
Sure.
my question I have for you is, and you can answer this any way you want. As a 24-year-old,
Mhm.
what's something that you've learned about yourself, for the bad or the for worse, or good or for worse, I guess. Hopefully not bad or for worse.
Yeah.
In this like stage of your life, like being in your early 20s, that has surprised you,
Surprised me.
that you've learned maybe about yourself, or just kind of like a life kind of insight from your experiences. It could be
Do you
something.
want a funny answer? Or do you want a real answer?
Whatever you want. It could be something like, I used to not like cucumbers and now I like eating cucumbers.
Yeah, like I can say something like that, but I can
take the
say
reins,
something
brother.
that first came to mind.
Yeah, go for it. You can say a couple things. I don't care. It's your time.
I learned that not everything's my fault.
Wow.
It's a bit deep. I know it's a bit intense, but I've had a problem with that my whole life, where I've had confidence issues. I've had, I guess, attachment issues of being afraid of people leaving. So I tend to take things upon myself because it's easy to, because that's what people want to. They don't want to take anything, so they want to give it. So if I take it, that might make them, stick around longer. That's how I used to think.
Well, and especially if you're used to that being your mechanism, was like, I got to deal with this because like I'm involved with it.
Exactly.
And when somebody throws shit at you, lack of a better word, you're going to take it because that's what you've always done.
Yeah. And then, so I think recently, I've kind of, like I said, just kind of woke up from it. And I was just kind of like, you know what? I don't have to be like the asterisk on someone else's story anymore. I can live my own life. And if that doesn't line up with like X or Y or Z, like these people, I mean, they're going to be, I've done my research, and they're going to be upset about it at first because, you're changing the ways and changing routines and stuff. But I think it's fine. Like, that's part of life. And I think it's part of growing up, is finding that, I need to find it's you focusing on myself or whatever. That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
The more I focus on myself, the less I like it, but I know what I need to change now. You know what I mean? So it's nice. And, maybe relationships will suffer temporarily, but I think my happiness long-term is worth more than that. And maybe that's selfish. And maybe it's not. I don't know. Who's to say? But I think it's what I need right now. So it's what I'm focusing on,
I think that's such like a beneficial mentality to have. I like, not to hijack your answer,
No,
but
of course.
I think what I could kind of like, what you said kind of reminded me of this, was like, the people that in your life, especially like people around you, and especially that idea of like taking the blame for everything. I think when you kind of wake up and you're like, I am in charge of this, like I'm driving the bus. It might not feel like it at times, especially when things are kind of rough.
Mm-hmm.
But you're in charge of it, and I think you have to be. I shouldn't even say this is selfish, but like taking your own time or doing things on your own regard. It might seem selfish because, like, yeah, other people you might have pressures from all.
They
these
might say,
extenuating
"Oh, why is
forces.
it by your rules?" It's like the same question could be asked back, right?
Right, or I'm sure you've gone through those phases, like, where it's not like a facade to say like you grow out of relationships at times. Not even like boyfriend girlfriend. I just mean like your friends.
Yeah.
Maybe there's somebody like you hung out with for a couple of years in college or something, and it was fun to smoke weed with them and like sit around and giggle. But then when you're not smoking weed with that person, you're like, why am I spending time with them? Or like something like that. That's just
Or
an
not even
example.
that mean. Might just be like, that's literally all we have in common, and that's okay to say that. I think people are afraid to say shit like that because they're, again, afraid to be alone or etc. They don't really want to hurt people's feelings. But I'm not trying to say anything by it. But it's like, yeah, dude, all we do is sit here and smoke weed together or whatever. All we do is sit here and play video games together, or all we do is whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a genuine connection, and that's not what I need right now in my life. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. You do grow out of relationships. I didn't mean to hijack yours, too.
Oh, no, please. But my thing, just like coming out of that even is I think at this stage of my life, I'm not going to come up here and be like, oh, I'm like a businessman. No. But like, I like to think I have a bit of a career oriented mind. Like I'm kind of actively thinking of like, what's next? How can I improve this or like do this differently? And you really do, it takes a toll on you spending time with people that aren't really in your camp. You know what I mean? Like that are maybe still I'm not trying to knock people. It's still okay at any age to be figuring out what's going on. No one ever knows what's going on. But I'm sure you've been around those people that are just they're so caught up in their own mental battlefield of things that are happening that it's when you see them, they're like, oh, I don't like doing this and this, and I hate this and this. Like the whole thing is it's negative. They're like I don't want to do anything because I don't like doing anything. I don't want to go to school because I don't like school. I don't like working because working's dumb.
Yeah, and they're so outwardly like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And then that makes everyone uncomfortable because like no one knows what's going on. So why? But like, who? I don't know. I know what you're saying though.
Yeah.
It sucks for them, but it's like, yeah, no one needs that around them, kind of.
Well, I mean, it's such a crazy age that we're at right now too. It's like most people are finishing school or they're going into different programs, master's programs and things like that. Some people maybe didn't go to school at all and they're trying to figure out a career. And it's, at times it's beautiful because it's like, it's going to be so cool to see where like people end up. But at the same time, don't get me wrong, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because people are finding their rhythm and their groove. And it's, not to make this sound too dramatic, but like, I almost feel like, or how I've been feeling recently, it's like, I feel like this stage of your life is almost like your secondary like win of life. I mean, like you're born, you're a kid, you're learning about yourself, you're learning about the world, you're learning about anything, everything, all at once. But then you kind of hit this stage, you're kind of thinking for yourself. You're kind of building your own life. You're kind of viewing the world a little bit differently because I think that veil of like youth is kind of gone.
Yeah.
Where it's just like things are gonna happen. Great things are gonna happen to me because great things happen to good people. It's like sometimes, but if you want something, you damn well better go do it.
Yeah,
like that kind of idea.
No, it's not gonna wait for you.
And I think that it breaks a lot of people. I think because maybe you're like, oh, the world isn't this soft, cushiony place that everything happens for me. Or it motivates you to be like, I want this kind of life, or I want my life to be like this. I need to do X, Y, and Z to obtain that.
Yeah,
it's such a it's like a pivotal part in people's growth, I would say. This kind of, this, I don't know what you call it. Like, your 20s, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like I mean, there's that whole, classic joke or idiom, whatever it is, you would say you're not like a full human being until like 24. I don't think it is 24. It could be 27. Yeah. One of the two. I don't remember which one it is.
I don't even feel like a quarter right now.
But exactly, right? Like, that's the idea. Is like, you're not fully, like, I used to think that was funny, right? As a kid, I was like, haha, that's funny. I'm so cool right now, But then, yeah, you reach that age. I think it just means like, this is what it's like now. This is life now.
And it don't stop coming.
No, it doesn't. And neither does, like, you're at the point now, you're an adult to the point, like, you're not expected to know everything and do everything, but you have to start formulating your own opinions about things and making your own moral compass. You can't just be a rehash of your parents, right? That's not progressive or whatever. If it happens to be the exact same, so be it. But I would like you to do your own research because, that's what politics is all about. But
I just often find myself being like, this is what life is like now.
Yeah.
Like this. I didn't sign up for this. This is crazy.
I didn't, yeah. It's like last year I was, like, what was I doing this? Oh, wow. I did not expect to be doing this, but,
Well, think about Christmas. We were talking about, a few of us were out last night, we were talking about, like, like Christmas, when you're a kid, it's like, that's the epitome of being a kid. It's Christmas, man. It's the biggest day of the year. And now, not that, like, I don't know, I've always enjoyed Christmas. I know that's not mirrored by everybody, but, like, it does feel different. Like, holidays feel different as you mature, because now it's like, okay, now I gotta be worried about having money for presents. I gotta be worried about that I have money for rent. I got money for whatever it is.
It's responsibility, right? It's just,
yeah.
As responsibilities grow, we get more uncomfortable with things that require responsibility, right? And that's the thing. And I want to ask, I'm just thinking about why that is. Like, why are we so afraid to be responsible? And you know what I mean? Not afraid, but like, why are we so anxious about being responsible? Why are we so afraid of being, held liable? And I think, I don't know, why is that? You think it's because we're afraid of denial or like doing something wrong?
I think what it is, it's what you were touching on before is accountability. Right. I think it's because, how that there's always that saying of like, we make the easy things so hard to do.
Yeah.
I think part of that being, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm sure you've done.
Oh yeah, everyone has.
You name it.
Yeah.
Like maybe you got to call the dentist to book the appointment, but you haven't done it like 3 weeks. I think part of it is because if you commit to doing something, there is that anxiety of like rejection and failure. So that if you commit to doing something, you are solely responsible for it. So if it goes bad, that's your head on the block for it.
Yeah.
So I think you're like, I don't know, like things like that where it's like, oh, you have to do something to better yourself. Like maybe you got to go to the doctor, you got to go to the dentist, you're gonna hang out with a friend.
Well, I have an example.
Yeah,
recently.
Please.
I mean, I won't. Well, we'll have to see. But anyways, I had to do laundry, right? And my laundry pile always just piles up. I don't know about you, but like it takes sometimes a few weeks to like get my clothes clean, because I don't have a lot of clothes, but I have like a nice cycle of clothing, so I don't need to wash every week. But anyways, I was doing my laundry, and that's one of the things I put off. So that's one of those things. Yeah, I have all the time in the world, and it's easiest thing to do, but then it's really hard. And then, of course, the worst thing happens. Like, I got told I'm doing it wrong. So I think it's things like that it's like, it just continues, right? Because it's one of those things that you take that step, like you said, of doing the thing. And then I got told I was doing it wrong. And I was like, I've been doing laundry for years, like 8 years, right?
Yep.
It's like, how am I doing it wrong now, right? But anyways, it's like one of those things, we're afraid of that exact thing, right? And it's one of those things where I don't think it's going to happen in every case, right? I mean, it's such we're talking so vaguely here, but I mean, like, you could apply it to anything, right?
Well, I think it's like a primal thing too. It's like, it's like the monkey on the higher branch thing. It's like, if God forbid you do something that other people wouldn't do, so that you are the viewpoint, like you're in the center of attention for them to be like, that's weird, or like, that's wrong, or that's not good. Kind of have that like pack mentality to be able to, the best way I can equate it is like, think back to like social dynamics in like a high school setting. I think maturity to a degree is like coming out in the world and just being like, oh, people still have the same wants and needs as they did like at that time. It's just expressed so much differently, like through work. There's so much on that, like people that were kind of like, you know, like the bully type in high school. It's because they're, you know, lack of attention, lack of whatever. So they try to get that from other people. Now that they're at that high school side, they're their workplaces, they're in life, and maybe they're doing it to their partner, maybe they're doing it to people at work, because it's that hole is still in them, unless that's something that they've sat down and worked through. Yeah.
It takes real work, man.
Think about that. Even when you're driving around and some guy cuts you off, and he's like, he pulls over and he wants to fight you. I just think all the time, I'm like, I don't know what this guy's situation is. He could have a gun right now and pull it on me because everything in his world sucks. Yeah. And he just needs this one moment of like going off. You don't know what you're dealing with.
RoboCop is still doing circles.
RoboCop is still doing circles around the park.
I have to note that, because that's incredible. He's gone by like going. At least 10 times since we've been talking.
Maybe he's got to charge up at some point. He's gonna fall over.
Yeah, what is that? A Tesla? Does it go for 200 hours or something?
He's got a little motor. Take a little petrol in the back. I don't know.
Anyway, sorry. I just needed to note that. Dude. But yeah, I think you're talking about, So they never fix it. And then, sorry, I'm just still looking at RoboCop.
He's going off in the horizon right now, folks.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. But yeah, I was saying with high school, you do see that transition as well through college as well. You see that the cliques forming, but like in different ways, right? It's the same kind of groups, but just in different ways. But yeah. RoboCop sent me going.
Brother, thank you for being on this.
Yeah, man.
This has been a long time coming. You will be on again for sure.
I hope so. Yeah, I'd love to.
Because I don't even think we touched like half of what we wanted to talk about.
No, we just like talking, don't we?
That's okay.
We just ramble.
It's two hosses chatting. That's
rambling rams.
What, before we wrap it up, is there like, I'd like to throw it to the guests and just be like, is there anything you want to say? It doesn't need to even be good. You could just be like, eat your greens. It can be whatever you want. Is there like a little sentiment you want to say? You want to plug something? Anything. The floor is yours.
You spent the last 5 years trying to get with the plan. In the next 5 years, trying to get with your friends again.
Whoa.
Think about that. It's a line from LCD Sound System song. It makes me think a lot, because it's like, honestly, it's where we're at now, right? We're in 5 years trying to get with the plan.
About that.
Exactly, right? It's like, you might lose friends in this time. In the next 5 years, you might have to use that time to get your friends back. But I think it is an important time to use for yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Willem Lachance.
Thank you so much for having me.
Again, tonight is the Country Christmas charity show at the Food Bank of Waterloo. I would say come to it. By the time you hear this, though, it'll be over. So don't come unless you've already came. Keep your eyes out, www.nickboardman.com for some dates. I'll be announcing some 2024 dates in the next few weeks here. But for the time being, I'm enjoying life, being a happy hoss, and enjoying the holidays. We'll talk to you shortly. See you, folks.